Welcome. We're here to talk about props for restorative portion of our upcoming class. Here you can see I have, this is my small bolster, 2 blocks, a strap, and the blanket. Then I also picked up some household items which will be essential, possibly a washcloth, and I have 2 bath towels here and a firm bed pillow. So let's get started. Our first pose is going to be surfboard, and I'd like to show you here how to both set up the pose with the props and then also how to get into the pose. So we're not using, we actually will be using 1 block. And you will want this washcloth there because the block is kind of hard. We're going to use our bolster, which is going to be down here. Put the strap to the side. Get out your blanket. Now, your blanket should be on a wide half fold. And from here, we're going to build it up into a quarter, and then a half, like so. This being kind of firm, we'll place it here, place this on top. Now, we also have the towel, which we can add for some extra height, a little bit of extra height here, like so. So let me show you how you want to get into this pose of surfboard. This bolster here is very specifically needed, and you will be placing your ankles upon it. This portion is for the torso, so you want it to be able to extend from where your hips crease up to your shoulders, which can be supported or can be a little bit off. And it'll look like this. You want to get your pubic bone just on the edge there. And then we use the block and the towel to support the forehead. Now, with this setup, your block may be too high. And you'll notice that your head feels, I'm having to kind of hold it up. So instead, maybe you want to use this extra towel that you have. So you can get a sense that your head hangs just a little bit right here. Now the bolster is so extra important because what this lift of the feet does is it allows you to roll the thigh bones in. And with rolling the thigh bones in, you should be able to feel your legs kind of hang off and really allow the back of the sacrum and the low back to open. Arms can be arranged here in cactus pose. You can take them back behind you like so. They can float out to the side. I never find this comfortable. My most comfortable position is here in cactus pose. When you come out of this pose, you want to wrestle in your body parts, bring them underneath to support you. Lift up with your abdominals before you press yourself up onto your elbows and knees, then hands and knees. There we have it. Surf pose. Something important to mention about surf pose is you do want to create a support that is high enough for you to get relief off the low back by letting this upper leg bone dangle. So if you lie down and you feel like basically you're lying there with a pillow under your stomach, you need to lift this support up, and you can do so by using multiple blankets or towels here beneath your pillow. Or perhaps you have another pillow. It's definitely worth your while to experiment with what props you have available to you so that you can get the best platform built for your body size and shape. Our goddess reclines on her side. We're going to take our blanket, leave it in its fold, and look what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to make a little gradation moving upward by folding the top back just slightly. And I'm working to get out all of the wrinkles because I don't like the feeling of wrinkles beneath me. We're going to be entering this pose from a seated position. You'll want your bolster down by your legs, your pillow up by where your head is going to be, and perhaps your extra towels in case that's what you need instead. And then we'll also have a block here to the side. Let me show you how you're going to get into the pose. So we'll start in a kind of Swastikasana kind of pose here. We bring our feet together and we're going to lie down on our side on this blanket. And what you want to be on the blanket is your rib cage. So you do not want any of your hip bone to be upon the blanket. So we'll lie down on the blanket. And it's most optimal if you can fit yourself in a way that your arm kind of comes off the side, like so. Now you see here, I have a problem with my head tilting a little bit to the side as I lay down. So I want to increase the height so it better fits my shoulder span. I'll do that with this. Like so. That's lovely. And then the bolster goes on the knee to the foot, right here. Now this block is going to be to rest your arm. We're searching for a pose where we can be on our side and maintain that position of sideness with the torso. So you're not rolling forward like this or rolling back and open in this way. You are here. Reclining chair pose and Surfboard. So the strap is going to come down and bind the ankles together. And to do that, of course, you'd make a small loop around the ankles. We'll just pretend that I tightened that right there. We'll use our blocks here beneath the legs to support us, support the legs. And then we use our bolster. So when we come down, we'll come down first to our elbows. You can kind of snug the bolster a little closer in there, but you really want the bolster to be starting up above the floating ribs so that you end up in just your upper body here upon the bolster. Now, you can choose to stay long like this with the head. The other option is to grab one of your blankets and fold them so that your head can be in an even more elevated position. But what you want to look for when you're doing this pose is that your arms should comfortably reach the ground. So my elbows comfortably reach the ground without creating a lot of strain here on the chest. Another thing to look at is your chin. If you feel your head rolling up, your chin coming down, then the head support behind you is too high. You want the head to be in a position where it feels like it's neither tilting back nor rolling forward like such. And this will be our Supta Baddha Konasana heart opener variation here. A little note, if you feel any pulling or tension here, feel free to block out the legs even higher. So we're not looking to experience a stretch when we're doing this pose. You should organize the body to be in a position before you feel a stretch or any kind of pulling. We want our bodies to be able to relax in the pose, our bodies to relax in this shape. So just a little note, if you wanted to use a towel for that pose, I have it folded in half long ways, then folded in half long ways, then fold it again, and then I'm going to fold once more to get my level here. And because I have this weird edge on my towel, I'm going to flip it this way. Once again, if you're using this setup, you can use the towel instead. And this actually feels so much better for me. Oh, and I forgot, there's also, if you have a little extra flap at the end, you can fold it over for your head cushion. When doing restorative, there's a fine line between too much and too little. Too much support creates discomfort, and too little support creates discomfort. The most energy that you will expend during a restorative class is actually setting the props so that they are perfect for your individual being. And it's worth it. Now we will set up for supported Shavasana. Your 2 blocks and your bolster are going to make a support for your legs. For me, the high side is the best way. If you are shorter than 5 feet, you might find this to be more comfortable for you. And if you're really tall, then perhaps you will need to add some height to your leg construct. However you find works best for you, set that up and put that aside for the moment. Of your blanket, you can choose to use it over your body or beneath your body. For our purposes right here, we're going to use beneath the body. You also have the option of using your towel over top of your body. I just want the same surface to be felt by all of my skin, which will be this blanket. So when coming into position, you want to first start by checking out your leg support, making sure that it is in the proper place. You could choose to use your head pillow underneath your head if it doesn't raise your head by an overly abundant amount, or perhaps use your towel underneath your head. Gotta get the wrinkles out. Gotta get the wrinkles out. Like so. And then, of course, the washcloth will go over the eyes. Now, one thing to note when you are getting into this pose is the placement of your leg support. You want the leg support to be more towards the upper leg than the bottom leg. So when you're getting down into your position, you almost have to scoot your boot a little closer to your props and then lay down. You also want to make sure that your feet touch the floor. They're not hanging in space. So if your leg support is comfortable and you find your feet are hanging up off the ground, then this would be a place to use your extra towel or perhaps your pillow. If that were too far away, that's what I would grab because that would be extra luxurious. Now, just like when we were in surfboard pose, we want our legs to be organized so that they're in a neutral position. And often that feels more like rolling in than neutral because we become so accustomed to rolling the legs out and having them be open like such. So if you find that you are splaying out in the legs, what you want to do is straighten out the leg and then let it rest down. Straighten out the leg and let it rest down. In Shavasana, we want to organize our upper body. So we bring our shoulder blades just a little closer together. Try to work our shoulders down towards the floor. And then we're going to spread out, which releases that once again. A little preparation and knowing where you're going before you get into your restorative position, restorative pose can be so incredibly helpful. When you are about to relax, the last thing you want to do is feel like you have to rush or feel anxious about how are you going to get into this position, what is it going to feel like, blah, 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 blah. So what I do suggest is assessing your props and trying these poses out prior to class so that you can orchestrate a way that what you have best fits what you need and what will help you. Looking forward to class.